Hello guys, I'm very happy to see you in episode 6. This means that you probably followed along since episode 1 and you now have a decent city that looks like mine if you use the free assets, or perhaps you use your own assets. That's perfectly fine. So in today's episode, we're gonna see the Teleport Prefab because we want to go inside that house, and to go inside the house we need the Teleport Prefab. Also, we're gonna be importing a new tile map. It's also free. I'll put the link below in the description so you can get this other free tile map for the interior of the house. You can use your own asset, of course, or you can even buy the premium Japan interior house, but you don't have to buy anything to follow the guide. I'm personally gonna do it with the free cyber one that I'm gonna share, so we can just use that. So we're gonna also create the scene inside the house. So 3 things: creating a scene, creating the teleport, and then putting the innkeeper inside. We're going to do all that. So right now I'm showing you the web page of the person that makes the free asset that we're gonna take for the inside of the house. The color palette kind of matches the outside of this city. It's kind of dark gray bluish. So yeah, the optimal plan would be to get the interior essential, but this is not a freemium thing. So yeah, this is fine. We're gonna go with the free cyberpunk thing, unless you really like your project and you really want to keep on with the Japanese theme. It really adds up. So I recommend, for the purpose of this demo, to go on with the free assets, and at the end, if you really like your game and you want to optimize your demo and make it cooler, better, unify the looks, then you can consider doing what you want regarding assets, you know. So this is a voiceover, so I have to kind of remember what I was going over, but I have to do this like that. I have to do it this way. So I'm not gonna go over how to import a tile map, like how to download it, to extract it, to put it somewhere, and then slide it, drag and drop into the Unity. You can just watch episode 3 if you forgot how to. Also, in episode 3, I will show how to properly configure them. You know, the multiple or single sprite, the pixel per unit, the compression levels, and then slicing the sheet. So I'm gonna do it real fast here, because you guys are supposed to have already done it in episode 3, and you can watch episode 3 again. So I'm not gonna waste everyone's time by doing it super slow from here on. So go get the free asset, and then you do it properly like you should. I'm still gonna slice it because I wanted to test 16, 30 or 64, because it says 32 but it looks slightly less detailed than the Japanese one, but it really is a 32 by 32, but pixel size 16 by 16 to fit our grid. It's going to be just fine. So just put it 16 by 16. When you're done doing that, we're gonna integrate it properly into the new tile palette. You know, we're gonna do create a new palette. I'm just gonna call it cyber something. And then we're gonna save it. But I'm just gonna wait to sync up with my French counterpart. So now he's switching screens. Sorry for the sync up. It's pretty late here actually. It's 1 a.m. That's why I'm talking a bit lower. I don't want to wake anyone up, but I just have so much material to pump out, so I have to keep making voice dubs as close as I can to the microphone. So yeah, now we're at the almost 5-minute mark. If I look my note, yeah, this is where I integrate the tile map. So I just created a new one, then I'm gonna drag and drop it. You align the little white thing because you're paranoid like me. Then you let go of the left click. It's gonna load a little bit, and right away you're going to have a nice tile palette ready to paint a city with it. So yeah. So now we're gonna go move to creating a new scene. So we're gonna make it from the template scene, of course. So we're gonna go to the left into the scene things, but I think it's saving before. Yeah, just Control S to save. Then you go on the left. Yeah, this one to the RPG scenes. Then you're gonna click on the template scene, double click it to enter it. So you see that we are now in it. So now instead of painting grass, don't need to do this. Straight away we're going to save it. So you can click Save As, then you choose 2D RPG Kit, Scene folder, like I'm showing right now. And then you just put it in the demo folder, because that's what we're doing right now. I don't want to purge the kit or anything. It's why there's all the files from the demo. So I just name it interior cyber house something. It's not important. What's important, it's more like teleport names and stuff like that, because those you need to carry from a scene to another to connect them. But we'll address that when we get there. So now we're gonna start by painting the ground layer 1. Just because we cannot walk on the scene without a ground layer, so we cannot test the teleporter without a ground layer. So first thing you do after duplicating the template scene by saving it as, you do paint a ground layer. So I take the color of one of the ground things. I'm gonna change it later to use the ones that look better on the left, but for now I just wanted a ground layer to walk onto. After you painted a ground layer on the ground layer 1, you be sure you painted it on the right thing. Should be good to do that now. This is your second scene that you paint, but it makes a few hours that you hear me talk, so I've drilled it in your mind already. So now that you painted the scene, we're gonna move away the switchable layer though. I spawned the player start by right clicking to the RPG kit, and then you go to the prefab list. But I'm gonna remove it before I forget. The switchable layer, I'm not gonna use it in this house. There's not gonna be any complex bridging going on in this house, so I'm moving it away so we don't have an invisible wall blocking our way. Yeah, so after that I'm gonna create a teleport. So we're gonna right click and go take a teleport prefab from the 2D RPG kit. Well, I switched scenes before apparently. I did things in a slightly different order than I remembered. Just wait a second, guys. Yeah, so I made it this side first. It's okay. So go back to the scene, then right click 2D RPG kit, get the teleport prefab, and then it has two parts. It has the big rectangle and the little ball. The little ball is where you're gonna spawn when you zone out. The big rectangle is what the player needs to touch to zone in. So basically now I show that you can click on the box collider and you can resize it. So you want it to have the same width. That's a tough word though. The same width as the door. But then oops, I did a mouse slip. When this happens, you do a Control Z and you gain back control of the collider, so you don't have to click back on all the steps. So place it about like this. I'm assuming that you painted the door properly, because me, I put a ground layer where the doors are, so you can walk on the bottom of the door and then the head of the player touches the green rectangle and you zone. It's a better effect than if your door is rock solid and you zone by walking in front of it. Sometimes it can be annoying. So I recommend doing it like me, but if you did not make your door properly, I recommend scrolling back the video and looking how to paint the doors that you can walk into them. Well, there are multiple ways to do this, but I mean in the way that I did in this scene. So now I'm putting the trigger on it. I'm explaining the triggers rather, because there's a... Wait a second. My notes say that, but what trigger? Oh, the is trigger. Yeah. The collider. If like right now the is trigger is selectioned, is checked, that means that the green rectangle does not act like a collider. It does not act like a solid layer. It acts like as a trigger. So when the player touches it, it triggers, in this case, the script, and the script does this magic by making you switch scene. But there's a thing I need to cover right now. It's called build settings. You access it from clicking on file, then build setting. In the 2D RPG kit and in Unity, all the scene in your build is what you're gonna create at the end when you want to test your game or when you want to export it. So in your build, all the different scenes that you created need to be entered in it. Otherwise, when you will try to access the Teleport Prefab, you're gonna get a blank screen that will say cannot build. The scene is not in the build assets, in the build settings. So yeah. So all the new scenes that you do, you need to add them here. Also, all the scenes that you currently see are the scenes from the demo game. So do not remove them as long as you want to keep the demo around. Personally, I kept the demo around for multiple months just for fun because I was learning with it. But then when you want to make your project cleaner, as in less stuff that is not used in it, lighter, then you purge the demo stuff. But don't do that yet. For now, though, there are two scenes that you must delete. Art Jump in the video either 3.5 or 4.0 made those two tutorial map scenes, but they were only for a YouTube video, so you need to remove them manually from the build settings. Our job, if you hear the video next patch, you can remove those two things just to save time. And so what I'm getting at is we need to put the new scene that we made with the Moustache Man, and we need to add it by clicking the Add Open Scene. The Add Open Scene button will automatically add the scene that is opened in the list of the scenes in the build of the build settings. Sounds complicated, but it really is not. So once you add the scene, you will have to load the scene inside the house and add it as well. Then both the scenes will be in the build settings. So you will be able to zone from a scene to another without getting the black screen error that says you cannot because your scenes are not linked. A lot of people use the kit, but they only recycle the demo scenes, so they never face that problem because they never even know that this thing exists. I'm telling you right now, because if you want to make a professional game, which is what we're gonna make in this guide, we will end up in maybe a month or less, maybe 2 weeks, because this is a small game. We're not making a full-scale game. We're gonna purge the demo optionally. Don't have to do it. We're gonna purge the demo just in an episode, a what if scenario. I'm gonna do an episode like, okay, what if this is it? How do I build my game? How do I export it? How do I all those things? So in this particular what if episode, I'm gonna show this is how you build and run. You need to select a folder. It's gonna build a game there. I'm gonna go on the input system and stuff like that you need to know when you actually build your game. But this is for one of the later episodes, not for now. So for now, we're back in the scene of the Moustache Man house, and now we can right click to the RPG kit and put teleport, and now they will both communicate together. But yeah, we need to add this scene into like I said, into the build settings. So now I'm adding the teleport. So the way that this works is that you need to go down, and where it says scene, you're gonna need to write the name of the scene where you want the teleport to take you. So earlier it was a teleport to go here, now it's a teleport to go outside the city. Outside the city was named scene numero 1 in my case, so I'm just gonna copy paste the name, Control C, Control V, and then you get to choose a teleport name. At first I was naming my teleports in a way that I thought was smart, but it turns out it's terrible. just name them 001, 002, 003. Otherwise, at some point, when you end up like me with a game that takes like 40 hours to 100%, you end up with so many teleports. The names make no sense whatsoever. The alphabetical order just makes this worst. So you really need to use what's in place, which is alphabetical order. So if you make all teleports and basically everything based on a system like this, chronological system, you're gonna. It's just a smart way to work. Just as me. So right now I'm testing the scene, and as you see, you can go out and go inside, and it's not doing the error. So we've done it, guys. We've just achieved something. We now have a game in which we can enter and exit a house. So basically, right there, you could duplicate that and create infinite houses. You know, you connect scenes like this. Just looking at that, it looks like a top-down Zelda. Like you go in the house, you can put teleport in every direction. You can basically, just with what you learned so far, make a lot of scenes and connect them in any way, shape, fashion that you like. So me personally, I grew up on old game like Sierra games, So You Want to Be a Hero, the Quest for Glory series, and the Quest for Glory 1, 2, 3, and even 4. All the scenes were connected like that, but on that point in the game, it was so awesome. I love that series so much. I do want to make one of a game like this, but I don't know. I got my hands full, honestly. Maybe when I'm older, I'll cross making my own Quest for Glory game. But for now, Feline Realm, guy, and let's learn how to make RPGs together, because then we're gonna make Mega Man together. So yeah, one project at a time. Let's not go nuts thinking about all my childhood games that I want to make. That's for you to find out, and for as you watch the channel. So going back to my business, I remind you before starting to paint this scene, because now the teleport works, but it's a lame scene, that if you want, you can just use the assets that come with the kit. They're not bad. It's just that I wanted to show everyone that you can use assets. The thing is that the concept of using asset is something that we game dev take for granted, but the new people that come in, they don't all have that. They don't all have that knowledge. So so I wanted absolutely to not force, but I wanted to strongly encourage everyone to use assets, and it's why I provide links in every episode, because this way you learn how to import them, and that's where you realize, oh, I can browse the web for free assets. I can basically bookmark hundreds, if not thousands, of free assets. Then I can make like palettes of assets that match together, and so yeah, this is a montage, so I'll see you guys after. Guys, I interrupt the silly montage right here because I want to show you how to make a simple animation. I found a red and a blue light into the into the tile sheet that we got for free, and it's just the perfect occasion with that door to show you guys the very basics of how to make an animation. So first you go where the sprites are, but you don't take the ones that end up with dot asset. You take the one that end with dot png. Just move around, you'll see them. Once you got them, you put one on the map like this, and then you want to create, click on create here in the animator. It's gonna pop a window. We don't see it here, but just imagine it. It says where do you want to save. Just click save here, because this is a fine location. Now you see there's sort of a chronological line that appeared. Here we can drop the frames of the sprite. So this is the first frame, which is the same sprite, and then as a second frame I put the red. So now there's two frames, blue and red. But if I do play at 60 sample per second, it's gonna flash 30 times per second, so this is way too fast. So I'm gonna put it at sample speed 2, so it's like a normal red blinking light. And then let's say that later on we want to add behavior to the light. We can make it go blink faster like this. It's very easy to use. This is like the most simple animation you'll ever be doing in Unity in your life. It's only 2 sprites. This is like, it was perfect occasion, like the perfect starting point into animation. So now I show you how to install it, manner of speaking. Put it on this front layer, foreground layer in my case, and then you can remove the grid snapping to place it, but I recommend using the decimal system here. So the 0 is not to the right enough, make the 0 a 0.5. 7 is not high enough, make it a 7.3. It's gonna be high enough, and those values are relative to where you are from the center of the initial screen. So everyone's gonna have their own value, but if you did a good job imitating me, your scenes will be more or less symmetrical and you should have similar values. It's not very important for now. So now look at this wonderful light that is blinking. This was such a good 2 minutes of your life to watch this if you did not know how. So you can do this with literally anything. But now I'm gonna go back to finish. I think it's only like less than 2 minutes of painting, and then I'm gonna go back and spawn the innkeeper, guys. So see you soon. Guys, this will do for now. I think we've did a decent job with the asset. I could have done it a little better, but let's not go nuts. This is a video. I need to kind of pump out more speed and less perfectionism. So now this scene would be perfectly ready to add the innkeeper in the bed. So we're gonna right click. We're gonna do 2D RPG kit. We go in the prefab list, but we're gonna click directly on innkeeper prefab this time. We're not gonna spawn the normal NPC. No, it's this time we use a already made one because we're good enough. He has a very long thing inside of in front of him. It's meant that you can put a counter. I'm not sure the name in English. You can put a desk. Yeah, a desk works. You can put a clerk desk in front of him, and he will be able to talk. But I'm gonna put him in bed, and I'm gonna resize the size of his collider. So it's not important. It's just that when you spawn him, he comes pre-configured to have a desk in front of him, but you can absolutely change him. So now I start by playing around with his layers. I want his head to be on the cushion, so I put his head on the foreground, so it gets right on top. But then his body is like, I need to find the perfect layer, and the perfect layer in my case turned out to be a number 4 in the background. This way he is just look. This way it's perfect. So the NPC now really looks like he's in bed. He's got the sheets on top of him. He's got the pillow below his head. We really made a decent usage of the layering system with all these free assets and this very. It's all good. It's all good. It looks terrible because of all the Unity stuff, but when you click elsewhere, they go away, and I assure you it looks good. So now we're gonna look at the box collider, like I said, because I want you to speak to him when you go next to him in the bed. So right now he is there, but if you want, we can make him fully invisible, and then it's like, oh, you talk to the bed and you sleep in it. That's it. You can configure everything the way you want. But for this example, I made the innkeeper in the bed, which is funny because you're the one that's supposed to be sleeping, but no, he's the one that's sleeping. But whatever, it's funny, when you talk to him, the mechanics are in place for him to turn around. So now he's gonna be like turning in his bed, whatever. So now we configure him perfectly. I hope that you watched how I configured, because I kind of spoke my head. So now it was the dialogue configuration usually on an NPC, but this one is already pre-configured. So we did not create a dialogue. We simply click on the innkeeper and the hierarchy on the left, and he already has a dialogue attached. This dialogue, however, if you copy paste this NPC, they will all have the same dialogue dot asset, and it will create problem. So for now, I just let him use this demo dialogue asset. It's gonna be or demo innkeeper. But if you make a large scale game with, let's say, multiple innkeepers, you want to make separate dialog files. So you just click on the shopkeeper dialog file, Control D to duplicate it, give it a different name, and you create multiple dialogues in advance. Otherwise, if you click on the innkeeper and the hierarchy, you see the price here. But Arjum already covered all that in his guide, but I'm sure it anyway. Instead of 50, I put it at 10 just to show you. You can put it at 0 also. It's going to be just free, but it's still going to ask because the game is programmed to look for a price. So if you want the game to have all the beds free, you would need to go in the code and to tell him, don't look for a price. Just straight say, yeah, 0. Yeah, everything is changeable in the code, but these are advanced lessons. We're not here to break the kit. Because the kit is patched very often, and we want the kit to remain compatible. So there will be a big patch, if we're lucky, somewhere maybe next month, and then we will patch our kits, and from there we can do what we want, because it's probably gonna be last patch for quite some time, because the kit will basically be perfect with the next patch. But I'm not we'll see. If we're lucky, who knows, sky's the limit. So right now I'm showing the scene. I'm showing that I did some things good and some things terrible, like the layering of the chairs were complete garbage, but look, oh, this is great. The guy is in bed, we're talking to him, he's turning. Imagine you want to program this without the RPG kit. You start with a blank screen like my Python projects. Like, I need to create an NPC. I need to create a dialogue system. I need to create an animation system. I need to create a system that if I talk to him, he turns around. Like, this is it's months. It's everything is a nightmare from scratch. So it's why I was saying, I want you guys to save hundreds of hours. I know I sound stupid when I say that, but it's true. That's the thing. It's true. I don't know. It's just true, guys. So right now we tested the innkeeper. It's properly configured. Everything is fantastic. So I resume everything we have learned today. We've learned how to create a new scene. We already knew that, but we created a second one. We learned how the teleport prefab works, so we created the teleport. We've learned about the build settings and that we need to add scenes to it in order for you to be able to teleport and for your scene to be included in the build. We've went over importing a new tile map. Now I left you guys do it by yourself to gain some autonomy. And also we went over the innkeeper and stuff. We did so much in this episode, honestly. I know I speak a lot, but these are base lessons, and the base lessons are always the longer. The more we get into cool stuff, the shorter the video should get, and the more straight to the point, because I won't have to say all the tiny details over and over and over. I'm making some jokes in French, but I don't have time to translate. So see you guys in episode 7, where we will go into some very more fun stuff. See you guys. So hi everyone, thank you very much for staying until the end of the video. I like to take this time to ask you to please go on Steam and wishlist my game. Also, you can go on Twitch to see me doing some live development occasionally. If you're a super chat or super chatted, you can do additional support on Patreon. Otherwise, please like and subscribe. Those are really what I'm looking after, because I need to reach 500 subscribers to even be able to get some sort of income from YouTube. Until then, I'm doing this all for free. So thank you for subscribing very much.